Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Basting. Joining me are co-host Macy O'Dell and Coach Keita. We do have a punchy deal, but guys, let's get started because it's been an interesting week of football. Take you back a week, Macy. You said you didn't see anybody stopping PHC. That happened, although they didn't lose. We talked about a lot of things last week, and we start seeing results, and everybody would have been scratching their head. So let's actually start with yesterday's last night's match with PHC and Somerset. PHC needing an injury time equalizer to come away with a point. Coach Kita, did the result surprise you? I know we all took PHC, but did it surprise you?
Yeah, of course it did. Especially with how PHC have been playing with a lot of confidence. I didn't get to the match, but I have spoken to persons who were at the match. Some felt that PHC went into the match overconfident. It's like they walked on the field like we've won this one already. And hearing also that Somerset took a while to come out of the changing room to warm up. But then ended up getting the result and ended up actually, I think, putting PHC under pressure. And I think what tended to happen was the emotional shift. This is the first kind of real competition PHC have faced. And, did Somerset just outplay them because emotionally Somerset were able to keep it in check? Did we motivate Somerset? I was thinking today, like, hey, we probably motivated Somerset, to say, hey, you guys are serious? But my hope is that, PAC learned the lessons that they were taught last night and as they move on to play the opposition that they're going to face now, which will be tougher than what they have faced, that they will be able to fix it. But the result definitely shocked. I can't say definitely shocked me because Somerset have been playing well as well. So, but I did think PAC was going to edge them at least one,
Well, last week, Mason, you were talking about you watched Somerset and they're not going to be title contenders. What did you think of the performance that Somerset put out on Saturday night?
Well, actually, Somerset proved to me last night that they won't be title contenders. They proved to me last night, and PHC proved to me that nobody can stop them. And I'll tell you why. PHC's probably beat the first two games not playing good against weak opposition. And they came up against their first test. They got asked their first question last night, and they answered the question. Meaning, Somerset scored in the early 2 minutes from a penalty, and PHC really put Somerset under pressure. The one criticism that I did have of PHC that I actually even had it at PHC when they was winning. With all their possession, all the dominance of the game, they were not creating clear-cut chances. They were not the old PHC that attacked that goal quickly. They had a lot of midfield play, a lot of combination play, and they didn't attack that goal quickly. And that was showing up last night for all their dominance and pinning Somerset back. They didn't attack that goal quickly until Antoine Russell came on the field. So Antoine Russell, the coach's master stroke, the movements that the coaches done. Once Antoine Russell came on the field, now PHC is attacking that goal quickly. His experience. So they answered the question. And Somerset answered the question that they're not going to be title contenders because they could have stole that game yesterday. They could have stole the game last night, and they didn't make the right moves to steal the game and seal the game. And they gave up that goal, and they could have lost it. Luckily, they didn't lose it because Antoine Russell also hit the post and after one hole. He hit the post to make it 2-1. And as I said, I listened to the murmurs around the crowd. They had enough of Jamal Wilkerson. They had enough of him already. And what he's done, he's taken a Dandy Town style of football up into Somerset. That does not suit Somerset. He doesn't have Dandy Town players. So, Somerset has had Dennis Brown, athletic players. Somerset had Joseph Gooden, very defensive, very smart players. Somerset had Chocolate, very clever wingers. Jamal doesn't have those players, and he's trying to take that type of Dandy Town concept up there. They're going to run him out. I see it. So to answer the question, PHC, and that's the worst thing that could happen for the rest of the league, that PHC got this wake-up call and a test and didn't lose a game. kudos to PHC because I wanted to see if they became disorganized. After they couldn't score, they did not become disorganized.
Mm.
So that means they're buying into everything that the coach is saying, and they just went from strength to strength when they was able to bring on Antoine Russell.
Mm.
So, it was masterstroke by the PHC coaching staff, the substitutes that they made. Yeah. And on the other side, Somerset gave their best, and they lost one of the best defenders. So he's out for a week. So Somerset's on the edge. They want to walk in the edge all the time. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Punchy, did that score last night surprise you?
A bit. I thought, like I said in my last week, I thought PHC would win the game. But getting back to Jomar, what Macy was saying about Jomar and his tactics in terms of bringing that concept of football up to Somerset, it's very difficult, I guess, for him also, to say, okay, well, I'm just going to play this way. Sometimes players have their depth also.
Mm-hmm.
Players have their depth also. So when you hear a lot of teams say, oh, this is the way Liverpool play, this is Liverpool style, this is the Manchester United style. But I think Jomar will get this right. I do understand it. I think he will get this right. It's just going to take some time. That's all. And I know Jomar's a possession-based player. He likes quality football, of course, speed, young players, but it's going to take some time. So kudos to him. He got that draw, maybe by, with the chances maybe with P. I didn't see the game itself, but I just think you got to give him some time, and I think he'll be okay up there. He's just going to change the concept of the Somerset philosophy. That's all. And I think he'll do it. I think he will, just like he did at Southampton Rangers.
Okay. And then the other game yesterday was Devonshire Colts and Crossroads at Garrison Field, where Devonshire Colts picked up their second victory of the season, defeating Crossroads 2-1. We all took Devonshire Colts because we figured, they had just a tad bit more to beat Crossroads. Crossroads have only scored 3 goals in 3 games, I believe they've played. That's going to always be a problem for any team. 3 goals and they've conceded 12. That's going to be a problem for any team if you're not scoring. And if we all know, Donovan Thompson has been the leading goal scorer or always been up in the rankings for quite some time. He scored his first goal yesterday. So what would be one of your concerns, Maceo, as a coach, to try to find the back of the net just a little bit more?
Well, I would reverse that question, right? I would reverse it rather than finding the net. Stop giving up goals, and give Donovan a chance to be able to score, rather it be 70 minutes, 80 minutes, And they to reverse that conversation, they just need to be pragmatic and stop giving up goals. I can remember in my coaching days not having certain players available to have a full strength team. And at North Village, what I had to do is just stop giving up goals. And once I stopped giving up goals, then I gave some of my better players a platform to be able to maybe use a bit of magic when we didn't have a proper rhythm or a proper structure in place to score. So I'm more concerned about the amount of goals that they give up rather than the not scoring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Coach Keelan?
Yeah, I agree with Maceo. Understanding the level that they are at Crossroads, not conceding and trying to hold on as long as they possibly can, and then work on that counterattack. But, not conceding will give their players a little bit more confidence to understand that they're staying in the match. And again, will frustrate the opposition a bit because they know that they are a better team and trying to score. You may just have to sit in a low block for, the majority of the game and then look for the counter or if you get a rare opportunity. But, they are improving. I mean, they're only letting 2 goals this weekend. So, understanding that, I guess they can look at that as a positive, but definitely to work better at not conceding.
Punch?
Well.
When you coached St. David, you was having a similar problem, weren't you?
Yeah. Very, yeah, thank you very much for reminding me of that. Considering where they were and where they are now, it's got to do with the whole transformation of what's happened since the guy left. He went to England. I forget his name. He's from Morocco. I thought he's on
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he done a very good job in terms of organizing. They haven't lost too many players, They were scoring goals like, I don't know what he did. Maybe it was a physical conditioning, but they are nowhere what they were like 2 or 3 years ago. No way. And I looked at them when they play against North Village. They're just not the same team. So the coaching staff down there, I don't know. I thought Thompson, the center forward, should have moved on, then to another club, then to a bigger club, if you understand what I'm saying. And it's just that, nah, right? I understood where they were going, and you just saw once they achieved that what they did 4 or 5 years ago, it's not going to happen again. It's just not going to happen again. No.
Yeah. Then we turn our attention to today. Obviously, at BAA Field, Dandytown defeated St. George's 2-1. Dandytown in an emotional state right now, unfortunately, having to bury their teammate yesterday and then come out to play St. George's today. Would have been emotional for anyone in the Dandytown family. But they got the job done despite all the circumstances that they've been through. Punchy, how do you think they would feel coming away with a 2-1 win over St. George's after going through what they've been through over the past few days?
Well, definitely an emotional game, isn't it? Definitely. But you got to look at it also, again, the opposite side of that, St. George's. They must be doing something to go through St. George's, but 2-1. So I just think that Dandytown is still finding themselves with the new coach. I think the stability is good with Aaron. It's going. I just think that it's going to take some time because I thought that, again, going back to the first game I saw him play against his Cougars, I thought they should have lost that game. Cougars were just really inept around up in the 18-yard box. But there is something about they just stay steady, they do things correct, and they find a result. So it was an emotional game, I'm sure. But again, kudos to St. George's. 2-1, that's not bad. So I think Dandytown is still, in terms of my rankings, probably second. PHC's Dandytown.
Okay. Maceo, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't feel the same way about St. George's. I see you got a soft spot for St. George's.
Yes, I do.
I don't feel the same way about that. They keep missing the mark. They keep missing the mark, and they keep, for me, the more they go without winning, the less the players are going to believe in what the coaches are asking of them, and the more murmurs are going to happen within the organization of St. George's. So these narrow misses is they don't seem like they're progressing because they keep missing the mark narrowly. Now for Dandytown, from Dandytown perspective, now that I've seen just about everybody, definitely Dandytown and PHC are going to be the only contenders that I see for the title. And what I've seen of what Dandytown bring to the table and what PHC to bring to the table is put another thought in my head that Dandytown could be the only potential stop for PHC. Now, that's if Dandytown could be Rangers. If Dandytown can get over, if they can do what they're supposed to do with Rangers and that little bogey piece, that they have with Rangers, they can do what they do with Rangers. So we're seeing both Dandytown and PHC win games that they're struggled with. So, I mean, for PHC, they drew a game that they struggled with. Dandytown won a game that they struggled with, and Dandytown's leading the league now. So they're gonna grow in confidence. They're gonna grow in belief of what the coaching staff is asking them to do. So once they start growing in that confidence and that belief that the coaching staff, that is working, they've got the special players around Dandytown. Let's not count out, Beachy, Bob, and the experience of players that they got with Sequoia. He's won multiple league titles. So they're gonna be hungry, and then they got that emotional piece with having to bury one of their best players. So that Danny Towns are putting another thought in my head as the potential mudslide for PNC as well.
Coach, you're smiling.
Yeah, I mean, I actually tend to agree with Uncle Bunchy in the sense that, St. George's are working towards something. And yes, they are narrowly missing the mark. A 2-2 draw with Cougars, they were right there. Other variables can dictate what happens in the outcome of games. But I agree. A 2-1 loss to Dannytown, who I think right now is probably the top team. Obviously working closely with Aaron Dankins on the national side, I see the work that he has been putting in over the years. Again, this is not just this year. This is where Dannytown have been working towards. They're another team like PAC where they're, for the most part, homegrown friends, brothers, and condolences to the family again. But losing one of your starters, one of your star players, it's only going to bring them closer together. They have a different purpose to play for this season. And we have to be mindful of that. The emotional, mental side of their game is what's going to drive them. They also have a good young group of players mixed with, as Maceo said, the experience, right? So those players that's able to dig deep. And then, you have a JB who's way up her and an Aaron Dankins who's way down her. Again, that's another balance, right? And as Maceo mentioned before, Siobhan, who's worked with those boys since they were 11 years old. So buy-in is not difficult. They're gonna buy in to their coaching staff because they trust the process. For St. George's, keep working. I'm not counting them out. I'm glad that we didn't play St. George's this week, and I'll leave that right there. But St. George's is not. I see where they are progressing. They are progressing, and I think they're going to be fine. Let's see what happens on the other side. They're implementing some new things. Obviously, new tactical director, they're a new assistant coach, and they're working together as a team. So I don't count them out. They're going to be all right.
All right. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the other two Premier Division matches that happened today. We'll be right back.
John Barrett & Son, Bermuda's leading distributor of fine beverages, have brought us something fresh and exciting this month. Mystic Juices, skillfully blended for captivating flavor and loaded with nutritional value. Mystic Juices not only taste remarkably good, one serving will supply an abundance of vitamins A and C, more than the certified measure needed to meet your daily requirements. This month we're featuring delicious and nutritious Mystic Juices in an enticing range of flavors in 64 and 16-ounce bottles. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. I'm still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
Welcome back. Well, out at Devonshire Recreation Club, Devonshire Cougars and Robin Hood played to a scoreless draw. Many would be surprised as Robin Hood lost player coach Dante Levrock in the 10th minute, and then lost the midfielder, played for Bermuda. What's his name?
Liam Evans?
Liam Evans lost Liam Evans in the 15th minute. So two experienced players had to be taken from the game through injury, and basically left some experience, but young to cope with Devonshire Cougars. When you hear something like that, what would be one of your first thoughts, Coach? Keita.
My first thoughts when I heard that they lost those experienced players and the result.
But we're able to get a point, and still able to get a point.
Level of football in Bermuda, just why? My question would be, why wasn't Cougars able to take advantage of that and tactically make changes to be able to dominate the match once there's two players. There's two big players that Robin Hood lost, and kudos to Robin Hood, who were able to absorb whatever pressure came at them to get a point. Getting out of there with a point was definitely the objective once that happened. And so again, Cougars haven't changed coaches early season. Kwame is probably still trying to find his best 11 and still trying to work through, to come home for the 2-2 draw with, they won last weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, they won. Yeah. They beat Eagles.
Beat Eagles, yeah. So again, still not, finding, his best 11 to be able to dig out those results. So again, I have to take it back to Bermuda. Our football, it's so unpredictable. It's unpredictable. And anybody will sit there and think, oh yeah, people probably thought Cougars was going to dominate Robin Hood anyway. So, for Robin Hood to get a point out of that, that's almost like a victory for them and a loss for Cougars.
Budgie?
My niece, thank you very much for saying that. Unpredictable. Just how unpredictable it is. But it could be very predictable if people would just do the jobs right and to make sure that the result, I thought that result was like, hands down, this is done. This is done. So do you say that draw was a result of their coaching or result of players at Cougars just didn't execute right? And then you're talking about Labrador's off. So we predicted that result was going to be hands down. So what is it that Devonshire Cougars players didn't produce today? That's really a question that I want to that I have to put towards you all about our players. 1 week they could be. There's a definition of standards. What the standard must be that you win this game last week. Robin Hood has lost 9. How many goals they conceded? And then you go to Devonshire Rack and then you draw against Cougars, and that's a draw. I'm like, wow. So do you put that down to the coaching, or do you put that down to coaching, or do you put that down to the players? Still questionable, still very questionable. And so my point in that, adding to what Coach said, Keita said about being unpredictable. I thought there was a sign still delivered. But that's what about consistency. Consistency in a country this size must be prevalent. It must be like, yeah, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game convincingly. So again, that's my concern about this football, the state that we're in, the country, in terms of what's predictable and what's not predictable. And so again, that's my opinion about that. That's what I think about that result.
Sure. Maceo?
Yeah, I mean, for me, football is very predictable with Bermuda. You just got to know what's going on off the field. Once you know what's going on off the field, you can predict what's going to go on the field. The game for me is never won or lost off the field. It's never won or lost on the field. And I know most people want to understand that conversation. The game's won off the field based on what your preparation looks like, and then it's just played on the field. So when you look at those two teams, they're both in those two clubs. They're both in very chaotic situations. So they're both, far as the coaching change, far as the personnel change, they're both in very chaotic situations. So the chaos is going to happen on the field. So you can predict that there will be chaos on the field, and something won't jive up because they're both chaotic off the field. So it doesn't surprise me that result looked like that way. It doesn't surprise me that Cougars couldn't take advantage of one of the more experienced players in Robin Hood and Liam Evans going off and couldn't figure out how to take advantage of that, because they're chaos off the field right now. And that chaos is going to show up on the field.
Mm.
Kenny Thompson used to say this all the time. If you're a fool off the field, you're gonna be a fool on the field too. You know.
Mm. Mm. Well, I left the North Village Somerset Eagles game to last because
I figured that.
Well, for two reasons. The Bermuda Football Association started live streaming of games, and they've done the North Village Somerset Eagles match today. It's a step that they're decided to take to kind of bring more awareness to the game, I guess. And the other thing is over the last few years at Bernard Park, Somerset Eagles has seemed to have North Village's number. Punchy, you're shaking your head.
I just listen. I'm gonna shake my head. I'm gonna tell you this, sir. There's a lot I gotta say about this, sir. That's why I'm even late to the show. That game was so poor, quality-wise. I was like, whoa. So you look at the results that, and I'm gonna make it quite clear to you, my analysis of this game.
Mm.
So there we go. The Somerset Eagles who has been scored. How many goals they've conceded in the last 3 games?
And in their 3 games, they have conceded 10.
10. Okay.
Today was their second goal.
Yeah, they conceded. Right. Okay. There we go. So anyway, I watching the quality of the game. The manner of the way the game is slow. My problem is this: is that my problem is that with North Village, like, what is the problem here? The passes were astray. They weren't connected. They were slow. They played square passes. I'm playing against Somerset Eagles. I was kind of figuring out what is North Village's intent, and what are they trying to achieve here? And I'm sure you might be add to this later on. But anyway, I was very disappointed in that, and I was disappointed in the approach to the game against Devonshire Colts. Now, what I'm saying is that, sir, you got this good coach, Kenny Thompson. I'm saying, wait a minute. Let me finish, Macy. I'm sorry about that. But does he have the quality? Is there quality? See, I think there's not quality there. I don't think we have quality at North Village. And then there's questions about what he wants to achieve, the way he plays. Because if you're playing against Devonshire Colts and you're losing to Somerset Eagles, that people are beating them hands down, the other top teams are talking about, well, there's a problem. Do what are you doing here? They were just really bad here. North Village, Somerset Eagles were okay, and North Village were bad. Mm. So it's like I was like perplexed about this whole game. The quality was poor. It was a very poor game. And I think in the end, a lesser concentration. They were open. The guy, a very good goal, but this tells me where North Village is at. Mm. I said to you, I thought in the first 4 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, I thought they were 5th. They're probably 6th now. Mm. And I'm saying, is it the coaching staff or is it the players? And I think it's a combination of. We don't have a whole lot of good players there, so you gotta find a way to win with these players. And that style that I thought that Kenny has, playing square balls across the back when you should go forward, just doesn't work against Somerset Eagles and Devonshire Colts. So there's questions to be asked there. Last but not least, I asked to have an interview with him. He refused. He didn't want to have an interview with me. So I talked to the players. They were talking about, and I'm saying, quote unquote, I'm gonna let you all know. The players are saying this, players are not showing up, this and not this and that. So there's a problem there, and I hope they can fix that. I hope they can fix it. But that was my perception. They are still very, very. They got to go to PHC in another week, and they're gonna be beaten. They will be beaten. I put my money on that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm finished with that. I'm finished. I'm sorry. I'm finished.
They have to, mates. If you start 4 on, I gotta play. So I play one of them.
North Village next week will play. They're going to buy next week. They have a chance to work it out.
Good.
Well, Coach, I'm gonna let Maceo go because right now I think he was about to explode when Punchy was talking. So go ahead.
No, that's fine. I don't mind getting last on this one.
Hey, I'm just telling it like it is. I'm really saying. I'm telling it like it is.
I've said it publicly on TV. North Village is crumbling. North Village is crumbling. What crumbling looks like when you got North Village type players that leave the club. You got Shekai that's now over Cougars. He's a North Village type player. You got Derek Bow's son, Tosh Bow, North Village type player that leave the club. This is what crumbling looks like. Why? Why are we crumbling? Why is North Village crumbling? Now you got to go to North Village's management. What are they managing their club right and building it? So I'll go straight from the top. The president, Don. Does anybody at North Village understand what it takes to play football on the field? My answer is no. They do not understand what they have to do off the field to develop on the field. Do we have good players coming through the youth system? No. Does the coaching staff at North Village developing players coming through the youth system that can feed into the senior team? The answer is categorically no. They don't have it. Why? So let's get to the senior team. A coaching staff of Kenny Thompson. We use this word grew up with Kenny. I don't really use a good coach. Training coach, yes. Training coach, game day coach, never been a good game day coach in selecting, putting together the puzzle. Never really been that. So Kenny Thompson, the head coach. I see that Ray Tank could do with him. He thinks he actually knows about football. He actually doesn't know about football. That Ray doesn't really know about football, but he thinks he knows about football, and he doesn't. That's the case. Jamaico Janet's there. He actually knows about football, but he only knows how to deal with good players. He can't deal with those mediocre players. So he's not gonna be able to change the style of what he wants to do in his head with those mediocre players. So they have nobody around in that club that's going to question themselves, because you know what? They're nice people. We dress nice, have a good time even after the game. Nobody's going to question it. Once before, I've lived in this situation. I used to be the questioner. I'll get rid of Elliot Jennings. When Elliot Jennings weren't doing what he's got to do, or Punch is the questioner. When Elliot Jennings not doing what, I'll say he's got to go. Let's move. So I don't see anybody down North Village that's going to question themselves that they're not doing the right thing. And I can see they're not doing the right thing. I go to their youth setups. I go to all those things. I can see they're not doing the right thing. And they're not producing players. And guess what? When Candace had enough and he takes all those players again, that's going to be second time they have it. You do it to me once, shame on me. You do it to me twice, you do it to me once, shame on them. You do it to me twice, shame on me. So North Village is the fools. They're the fools down there, and the football is poor. And BFA, kudos to the BFA for putting football on TV. We need it. Couldn't you have picked up that again? Couldn't you have been on Danny Ton and put Danny Ton and to market our game in a better way? You know, because if I got some foreigners and people that's looking to invest in our game, and they're gonna see North Village playing, you know, and North Village played against Somerset Eagles, and you see that, like, that's any investment. The money's going out the door. Like, go Danny Ton, you know, put that game on TV. Pick a better game to put on TV than that one. And now let's get back to me personally. I picked North Village with my heart last week, knowing full well I should not have done it. Knowing full well I should not pick North Village with my heart. Punchy ran against his heart and picked a draw. Didn't you pick a draw, or you picked something?
Yes, I picked a draw.
He still had a little bit of his heart in there.
Hey, he was 70 seconds away from a draw.
Yeah.
That was
very true. Very true.
But will North Village question themselves? They will not question themselves because they think they got it right and they're not got it right. They're not going to question themselves.
Before I go to Coach Keita, well, let me ask you this question, Biggs. Why wouldn't you go and help?
Huh?
No, I heard you say. I think it was last week or week before last. You said they can't handle you, but sometimes it's needed to assist, and maybe you have to kind of change just a little bit, and then work your way in to then.
That's a very good question. Why I won't go? Right? They are too stubborn to change. I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to give them. They are still stubborn to change. And if you're not going to hire me security guards, a psychologist, make sure I get counseling every week. If I have to go down North Village, I need counseling every week. I need a security guard here to match with North Village because it's love for me. So it's very passionate. It's very passionate. So you're gonna need to send me on a hiatus trip every week to get away from it because they're not gonna listen because you know what? They think they know about football. And if you
on the flip side of that, Maceo, there's people that say the same thing when you say that.
I go, but my results speak for itself.
Okay, so I'm gonna get to Coach Keita before we go to commercial, but if your love for the club and your love for the game to see the game be played better, and you want your club to improve, the only way to do that is to be involved. To stand on the side, and not help is only making things worse. How do you? Okay,
I actually disagree with it. I actually disagree with it because it's a matter of keeping my sanity, right?
Right. Okay.
It's a matter of keeping my sanity. I've learned the hard way when people don't want to change, they're not gonna change.
True.
I've learned that the hard way, and North Village don't want to change. They like the way they are. So
I'm trying to interrupt.
For me,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you're gonna go to commercial, but I gotta put my part in this here.
Yeah.
See, I agree with Mason. Sometimes I don't take the referee's job, but I have the right to ask question the referee about what he's doing. So the point that I'm saying, Maceo, I approach you, Maceo, because the fact is we're only asking the questions. We are asking questions of people, but what I'm saying, I don't want the job. I don't want Kenny's job. No, I don't. But I'm going to ask him, what are you doing with the job that you have? So, adding kudos to that, I know you're going to come out your way. So, all we are doing is asking the questions of why this is not happening. And the people you hired were asking questions. Well, this person you hired, this should be a better result. So, it's just the same thing. That's all we're doing. And I think it's right. Maceo, I don't need to go down and do Kenny's job. I don't need to go do Something Eagles job. I don't do that. But I want to ask a question about what are you doing here?
I don't think I can help North Village. To be honest, I don't think I can help. I don't think I can help North Village because they're too stubborn. I know the stubbornness. I know the stubbornness. I know it.
Let me get to Coach Keita because she's the only one that hasn't had a chance to say anything. And
we can't send it all in one club, you know. We can't send it conversation in one club.
I can see the blood dripping down her mouth because she's been biting her tongue.
Hey, look. I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting there listening at these two guys. Shout at you out. It's the funniest thing ever because
I'm really mad.
That's so angry, right? That's
yeah, right.
You can't be angry, guys. You can listen. You cannot be angry. Well, I heard both of you. Mace, I will have to disagree with you a little bit because I went and watched my son's team play yesterday, and I watched the senior team today, and I never clapped. Never watching the senior teams. I clapped a lot yesterday. I mean, I saw those little boys trying to play the ball, run the back, looking for that penetrating pass, overlapping fullback. So I think most is doing a good job. I see the coaches. I still see some of the work that they're doing, and they're working, and they're doing what they can do. We are lacking in that next level after U15s because again, we're either losing players to other clubs or losing players to other countries. A big chunk of boys went overseas this past year. So, Village do have they now is not a time to have chaos. Now is not a time to go separate ways. Now is not a time to bicker. Now is a time to come together. And all the hits, I agree with Earl. Uncle Ponzi and Maceo, both intelligent people, both part of North Village. We're speaking of their problems right now. Do you have a solution? I don't know if you have gone and said, listen, even to the president, look, what is going on? This needs to be fixed. This is not North Village. I was watching that game today and I couldn't make heads or tails of what I was looking at. Like I started counting passes and then I started this and I was like counting sheep because I had to start counting over. It was terrible. Guys, listen, I haven't played football in 10 years. I still have these. And I bought them on practice to the show. Not one player on that field had hard starts. Those guys were smart. They're like ballerinas out there. Like, let's talk technical. Let's talk just basic technical skills that these players lack. A ball into the feet. You guys are touching the ball. You're still watching the ball. Nobody's scanning. The girl is right there. You're getting the ball outside the 18-yard. My son yesterday scored a girl outside the 18-yard box. You know what? The boy played the ball, crossed the box. He touched it with his left foot. Boom. As the ball was coming across, he saw the girl, looked up, looked on, touched, bang, a girl. I seen these senior players taking 2, 3, 4, 5 touches in and around the box. You received the ball with the defense behind you, and they've had time to get in position to block your shot. It was a mess. I was like, what am I agree with Maceo. Jesus, BFA, could you have not gone somewhere else? I mean, I was like, and I was excited when it came out, right? You see it, oh, Village and Eagles gonna be, I'm excited, like, yes, I thought about going out to the game, but I could sit in my house and watch it, and I'm saying, I am so glad that North Village and Manchester United do not get me in the emotional space that they used to get me in, because I would have probably had been on suicide watch this weekend. I'm like, this is horrible. I have never seen such bad football.
Thank you very much.
The football was poor.
It's poor.
Let me show you guys something.
The football was poor. They cannot play. It's that simple.
This is a document, right? Let me show you how stubborn they are. I'm gonna give facts because I know I can't help stubbornness. I can't change stubbornness. So here's facts for North Village. This is a document, a syllabus that I done up for North Village maybe 10, 15 years ago, how to develop players. A whole syllabus, coaching methods, all that. You know, whole training sessions, everything. So now, do you know, instead of them taking this on and building on it and going to the next level, they don't use it because maybe it was me that done it. Maybe it was me that done it. They don't use it and have it built. This was a guideline how to build on it. So instead of using that and empower themselves, they hire Kenny. Instead of using that and empowering themselves. So when you do stuff like that, so this is how the ways that I try to help them empower themselves to get better. But they don't get that concept.
Have you done it recently? Have you and your brother sat down and had this conversation as well? And has he not been receptive to it?
Is it anything that I don't say? Sometimes people want me to shut up because I say too much. So is anything that I don't say? So they know that I've sent it to them. They can build on something like this. But they don't use that document. They've got their own way of doing stuff. They got their own way of how they want to do stuff. So I have a total different opinion about the youth program down there. I'm seeing the training sessions. You know, I'm seeing what's happening. They're not producing good players. They're not putting on good situations. So if you speak about your son, Keeler, what I would say about your son, I know he has his own intelligence of football that he brings to his nothing. That's something to be coached into him. He has his own. I can speak on Uncle Punch's grandson. He has his own intelligence of football that he uses at that level. It's not something that's structurally or systematically through North Village. He has his own intelligence. And when you lose that kid, so when you lose Remy to go away, then all of a sudden we're not good players or we're not got a good team. So we could take the kid Owen Batello. I think is an excellent player, but he's playing on a wing. He's playing on a wing when he's a player that can come inside and control the game and shift the game, and you can start creating different balances. Nobody down North Village knows what they're doing. I know, even from my brothers, I know who they look up to in coaching. Kenny. Because Kenny's took them from day one to where they are. And I told Jamaica Janice, my cousin, all he knows how to do now is pass backwards and sideways. Where that comes from? Kenny. He don't even like scoring goals no more. He knows how to go backwards and sideways. No, when he had Patches or when he had Maceo, what was the difference in the creativity and the risk taking going forward? Very different in the risk taking going forward. So now they're safe people. They're safe people. That's what they are. They are. They like to be safe. And me, I'm not safe. Punch is not safe. We're not safe.
Well,
based off what I saw today, safe is all you can be. They don't have the quality to go forward. I mean, it's just not there. It's just not there. It's
just not there.
Let's take this quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get into our picks, and we have two questions. We'll be right back.
The use of butter goes back millennia, and its exalted status in the cooking world and in so many kitchens is undeniable. Around 3,000 years ago, ghee, or clarified butter, was developed in India and is the cooking oil of choice in many regions of the subcontinent, and compared to butter has a higher smoke point, reduced dairy solids, and a more robust, nuanced flavor. And to Organic Valley, creators of a certified organic version of this versatile traditional staple. This month we're featuring Organic Valley Ghee Clarified Butter. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. Still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
Welcome back. We did have a question, not knowing the daily goings on at North Village. What would the group recommend be done to address the perceived problems? Not to dwell too much on it. I mean, obviously that for me, it comes down to membership, because they're the only ones who basically have a say with regards to what goes on at the club. If you're not a member, I mean, from the outside looking in, what change can you affect?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not a member. When I applied to be a member of North Village, I put Dickie Hollis on my thing, and they rejected my membership. Figure that out. I'm not a member. I won the Triple Crown with them, but I'm not a member. So I won the Triple Crown. I coached all the youth programs. Figure that one out. That got. Hey, it's been said before. It's not the same. The North Village has very deep-rooted problems. They have very deep-rooted problems that they have to first accept that they have these problems, and then they have to come up with a strategy to fix them. And those problems are bigger than me. Those problems are bigger than myself. So they need a total new regime from their management. I mean, I can speak to so many different situations. I mean, their vice president is Alan Young. Alan Young, no disrespect. Alan Young played music when we won football games. He didn't make decisions on football or that club. He played the music when we won football games, and he did a really good job of playing the music at our parties. Now he's dictating and making decisions on what happens at that club, and he just doesn't have football experience. I can go right down the gambit of all the different pieces of North Village. I know the club intimately, and they're lost their way. And we could talk about the clientele. The clientele of football players used to be Porn Heel players. That's not the clientele of football players now. I know about the uphill and the downhill. I know how North Village started. That's not the clientele of football players now. They lost their way. They lost their identity. and they're cool with it. They just be cool with it.
We also have a statement. There are times in sports when things don't go according to plan, even at the professional level, and that's a true statement.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
True statement. Let's get to the first division.
I think Earl, before we get, I think that it's again working with what he's got, and if as Uncle Ponzi said in interviewing or speaking with players or murmurs around the field, players aren't coming to training. That's what has to be fixed first, right? That's what has to be fixed first. And they're not coming because there is no success. And we have to remember, we're in a country where we make it so easy for our kids to quit, or make it so easy for people to quit or to move when things aren't going the way you want it to go. Look at Manchester United and Donny van der Beek. Like, United is making it difficult for him to leave because things aren't going the way he wanted to go. But in Bermuda, if I don't come to training, and then I want to play, and this team is not accepting it, I'm going to go to another team. So they're in all fairness, in all village, they have lost players not because of what's happening at the club, but because players sometimes want to come with their own rules. I'm not playing, but I'm not training this week, or I'm going to play on the weekend. And if you don't play me on the weekend, then I'm going to leave the club. And I know this to be factual and to be true. So those are some of the things too that have to be understood. And I agree with the comment that sometimes things just don't go according to plan. Now, what is the plan? Now, how do we fix what we need to fix so things can go according to how? There's young players there too. Kenny has some young players. He has a little bit of experience. What experience? Bermuda experience. Let's think about that. We're playing against other teams that have had international experience. So there's a lot of different little variables as well. But right now, for me, the ins and outs of what's happening behind the scenes with management and all that, I'm not watching management play football every weekend. You understand? We got to fix what's happening on the field. And that has to be done in training. That, they should have an emergency meeting. They should have an emergency meeting tonight. Staff, players, everyone. If not first thing tomorrow, this is what we're going to do. Instead of training, here's what we're going to do. And they may be having that. I don't know. But if I was the coach of that team and in this position, that's exactly what I would do. So, I'm a village girl at heart. I will forever be a village girl at heart. Yeah. But as a football coach, things we got to fix it, guys.
I know we have to move on, but I'll leave this last statement. You can't fix the problem from the same level of consciousness that created the problem. So the people there, the management, everybody created the problem that's there. See, they all been part of creating the problem that's there. So now you have to ask yourself, can they fix it? The problem that they created. They created the problem. It didn't just pop up overnight, Didn't just pop up overnight. There's a reason I'm not at North Village. There's a reason. Amore Deal's son's not at North Village. These are reasons. There's a reasons Jennings is leaving North Village. There's a reason for that, You can't create the problem from the same level of consciousness that you can't fix the problem from the same level of consciousness that created the problem.
Let's jump into the first division. Last night out at BAA Field, BAA defeated Boulevard 3-2. Obviously, we all know the history between the BAA coach, which is Andrew Bascom, and he formerly coached Boulevard Blazers. And I told you he would have a trick up his sleeve. He'd have a trick up his sleeve. And of course, he came away with a 3-2 win.
I went around and talked to Andrew, right? And I told him I voted against him. So I told him I did a little pre-in, and I told him I voted against him. He looked at me and said, yeah, okay. He said, watch this. No, but it doesn't surprise me that he came away with it. And then, again, Andrew Bascom's not at North Village. Yeah. So,
punching that result, what was your thoughts?
Listen, that's I don't know. I think I always said, I think Mike, when you asked me the question, who was going to win that game? I think it was a draw, or I wrote BA.
You picked
Boulevard.
You picked Boulevard.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me say this now that this has come out. you know, Mr. Bass is a very smart and shrewd person. He'll feel that organization, because I remember watching one of his sessions. His players were all dressed up. They looked very organized, same uniform. When they came together, they were hugging each other. I'm like, well, I hope Norfolk is gonna play them in the FA game. Oh yeah, I hope you get put against him in the FA quarterfinal, because we will get beaten. But I'm saying, you just watch his sessions. You watch what he's trying to create there. Not with the best of players, but very organized. Now here he comes against Kent Boulevard, and what I said about disorganization in the country like this in Boulevard. Of course, very creative players, but of course a lack of disorganization. So, well, kudos to Drew. Kudos to Drew. Well, you know, that's what it is. You know, you're looking at Andrew Bass's coaching BA is to play against Boulevard with lesser quality of players but better organized, is to win the game. So he did it.
Sure.
He did it.
Coach?
Yeah, you know, it's got a relatively young team over there too. So buy in. He's Andrew Bascom. I'm sure it's not his first time being around those players. I believe he's also added Mark Smith, the former Cougars coach, to his coaching staff. So that's huge, right? That's a big pickup for him. When you think about the work that Mark done at Cougars, you know. And yeah, I mean, from what I was told, you know, they weren't bothered at all. And that's how it is, right? We all looked last week and said, those boys are gonna see those Boulevard guys are gonna intimidate them. They actually don't know Boulevard, and they don't care who they are. You know, it's almost like us when we go away. When we're her training and we know each other and we're scared to put the tackle in, and then we go away and I tell my girls, like, she don't know who you are. She doesn't care that you can score a goal from 30 yards. All she knows is you're the opposition and that you're not going to score. So she's not going to give you space. So I when I heard that result, I said, that's exactly what happened. Like, okay, Boulevard, who are you? We know what coach wants us to do. We're going to do what coach wants us to do. And they came out victorious. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I obviously had it a 1-goal win for Boulevard, but it was a 1-goal win for BA. And well done, Andrew. I'm not surprised that I lost that point.
At Wellington Oval, Wolves went down 3-0 to Hamilton Parish. Obviously, Hamilton Parish are kind of already putting their stamp on the league. Another big win. Your thoughts on the performance, Punchy?
I know someone that went to the game. Someone that went to the game. They said it wasn't one of those better games, but because again, with Sergio there, against that result should have been achieved, would have been achieved. I know he's prepared them well mentally. The person that watched the game said it wasn't really a good game at all, even though Parish won. So for me, yeah, again, we're going back to organization, people in charge of a team, know how to set the team up. Again, I still say Wolves is raw talent that needs to be, you know, tamed and organized, and then you get a better result. You would get something from those guys, but not right now. And you know, I'm it's just telling it like it is. They're just the person in charge of Wolves and nothing get the results that they deserve because they're not organized. And that's it. That's my take on that.
Sure, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I picked a draw. I just was hoping that Wolves' talent and some of the experienced players were going to be able to impact Parish. But again, we're seeing organization. I know Sergio. I worked with him enough times. He's organized as a coach. You know, he's tactically organized. He prepares his team well. You know, and that showed up against the game now. The game now for Sergio becomes the game against BA. Against another organized coach. And we look at Andrew, we say, well, he's not got the best quality of players individually, but he's organized. He's organized and he gets the result. Yeah.
Coach?
I never doubted that Hamilton Parish was going to win. Again, then you work with Sergio Dawes, and you know, Parish is in the first division debutante, or the first division PAC. They're playing a level of confidence right now. And I agree that the game against BAA will be a test for them. Playing against an organized, young, running team. I hope BFA show that game on when it happens. But I never doubted that Hamilton Parish would win that match.
Real quick, why is Sergio good or not the North Village coach?
Because he's coaching Hamilton Parish, some would say.
All right. Okay.
And the final.
I actually think good is a bigger name at North Village than Deal. Yeah.
The final first division game of the weekend saw Vasco and Island Rangers draw 1-1. Believe it or not, Island Rangers have played 3 games this season, and they have not lost yet. They've had 1 victory and 2 draws. I'm not even concerned about who they've played, but if you guys watched Island Rangers years going by, they concede over 100 goals year after year. The last few years, not so many, but it's always been up in the 60s. But right now they haven't lost. They've only conceded 4 goals. They've scored 8. So, I mean, hey, things are looking up at the West End. What's your thoughts, Maceo?
Yeah, momentum team. I know what happened. They said this is Vasco. We're gonna beat them. We ain't gotta do what we're gonna do. And they had a bit of Vasco organization when it came in. Under Adams to stifle a little bit and keep in the game. So
right.
Yeah, the result doesn't surprise me either. Because can Island Rangers build on their momentum, or do they self-employ? Usually they self-employ. But
let's see. Well, when we get to their next game, you'll see. We'll find out. Punch.
Yeah, I was actually I thought it is what Vasco didn't do right. Because just adding to what Maceo says, it's like when will Island Rangers dissolve? When they will just break up? Because all they got to do is lose 5-1 against Hamilton Parish, and then that's it. We no good. We're just going to play right. So again, structure. I don't know who's in charge of it, who's coaching them, but the West End outfit. The guys that come from the same neighborhood. They play their hearts out until they come up against something different. Like when they go to play against BAA. And then you'll see what really they're about. Because Andrew will outcoach that the person is in charge of the Rangers. It's just that, well, if they come down to BA at Goose Carson Field, expecting to win against BA, it ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. No. And that's what I'm saying about talent versus organization. Talent with organization and talent with very good organization will, in the country this size, will win. We'll get a decent result, and that's important to understand. Island Rangers, again, same thing. After 3 or 4 games, when the results start going against them, I think you start seeing the same behavior.
Coach?
I'm going to wish the best for Island Rangers. I'm not going to speak anything negative to they obviously are doing something better. What is it that they're doing better? Because these same teams that they played last year probably put some goals in them, right? So what are they doing better this year? Can they build on what they're doing better? I'm not going to deny that coming up against a Hamilton Parish and a BAA and even maybe a Wolves will test them. And that may be their test. And my hope is that they don't implode. My hope is that they don't implode. But Marcio, is Marcio Hunt not there?
Wayne Smith.
Wayne Smith? Oh, Wayne Smith is still up there. Okay. I don't know why I thought Marcio was with him. Yeah, I mean, I know him personally. He's sort of a passive kind of guy. Loves the game. He's always, he was at North Village when his son played there. And he's trying to do some things with Island Rangers. So, these little small victories that they're having, I just hope that they can continue to build on it. That's my hope, because we don't want to see a team implode. I'm had enough implosion for one season already. So I really hope that they build on this momentum. But again,
Sure.
I agree that their tests will come and they play against more structured, probably better coaching, more experienced coaching.
Sure. Well, let's quickly take a look at the standings. We have Dandytown Hornets with 12 points from 4 games. PHC has 7 points along with Somerset. PHC have played 3. Somerset have played 4. North Village and Devonshire Colts both have 6 points. North Village have played 4. Devonshire Colts have played 3. Devonshire Cougars have 5. Robin Hood and St. George's both have 4. Somerset Eagles have 3, along with Crossroads, and of course Southampton Rangers are without a point. And then in the first division, we have Hamilton Parish leading on 9 points. BAA have played 2 games, won them both. They have 6 points. Island Rangers have 5 points. Wolves have 4. Boulevard has 3. Vasco 2. Young Man Social Club 1. St. David's and the Paget Lions both are without a point thus far. So now let's take a look at the upcoming games and make our picks. I know, Coach Keeler, you were talking about you don't like doing it anymore, but
I'm not fun. This game's not fun anymore.
Well, on Saturday down at the Wellington Oval, St. George's will host Robin Hood. Punchy, who you taking?
I'm going to take St. George's.
Okay. All right. Monsieur?
Yeah, I'm going to take St. George's. Hey, Patches, don't let me have to come looking for you.
Hey, hold on. Let me ask you that. Is this with your heart? Is this with your heart?
This is my football mind, but I'll tell you this. No, I'm not going to use the word Patches. I'm going to call him Cow Deal when I record him. Cow Deal. Don't let me have to talk about you next week on the show.
Definitely.
Because I do.
Yeah.
Actually, we might invite him in and see him on the show next week. I'm taking
Coach?
St. George's. Come on now, St. George's.
Okay.
And
so
that's my heart and my head.
That's everybody taking St. George's. Then on Sunday at the Devonshire Recreation Club, Devonshire Cougars will host Somerset Trojans. Monsieur?
That's going to be an interesting one. Somerset Trojans are gonna get across the line with that one.
So
Where's that game, Earl?
Iraq.
No, like let me change that out for a little bit. I'm picking a draw.
Okay.
I'm gonna cancel each other out.
Okay. Coach?
I think she's frozen out.
Okay.
Yeah, Summers has not convinced me that the real deal is.
Punchy?
I'm going to go for a draw on that one. Somerset, yeah, they're still feeling the feet. I'm going for a draw.
I actually have taken Somerset Trojans. I have taken the Trojans. Then Dandytown Hornets will host Somerset Eagles at BAA Field. I'm going to take Dandytown. Punchy?
Dannytown, hands down.
And Dandytown continue to impress me, man. They continue to impress me. They even impressing Jim Baxter. You know how hard it is to impress Jim, right? Jim's calling me now, right? And you think I'm hard there. You got to, Jim comes from a little different hour of hardness.
Right.
I'm to impress Jim. So So Dandytown.
Okay. At the Garrison Field, Crossroads will host PHC Zebras. Mace?
PHC is going to flog them. I hate it to be the team that has to play PHC after they realize they need to do something better.
I'm going to take PHC. Punchy?
PHC. I'm just saying that even on the size of the field, PHC, all the boxes are being ticked correctly. What they have to do. When they don't do it right, they will find a way. Crossroads are just in. You see where they are in the league. I tell you this, 4 or 5 years ago, they ain't the same team. I'm picking PHC hands down on that one.
Okay, all right. And then the final Premier Division game of the weekend Devonshire Colts will host Southampton Rangers at Police Field. I'm going to go with Colts. Punchy?
Devonshire Colts will host who?
Southampton Rangers.
Oh, that's Devonshire Colts. That's Devonshire Colts.
Okay.
Definitely. Rangers again. No, I just think that Shrieker's got a real task on his hand. He's already put his hands up and say, "Listen, whatever happens, I'm gonna try to fix this. I'm gonna do this." But he knows, I'm sure deep down inside, Shrieker knows that he's up against it. Devonshire Colts all the way with that.
Okay.
Devonshire Colts is gaining momentum. Ray is going to bully him. Ray is going to bully him and get that result.
Okay. Then we move to the first division. Vasco are at home at Southampton Oval with BAA as the guests. Punchy?
That's BA. Andrew's gonna outsmart them again, and that's BA. Yeah, I think actually, I take BA. And an odd goal too, a 2-1 or a 1-0. I know Andrew's so I'm gonna BA's gonna win that game.
Okay.
Who BA play who? Say that again, Aaron.
Vasco are at home against BAA at Southampton Oval.
Oh yeah, BA is gonna win that for sure.
Yeah, I've already put down BAA.
Yeah.
And then Boulevard are at home at BAA Field against Paget. I'm gonna go with Boulevard. Maceo?
Boulevard. Yeah.
And Punchy?
Boulevard, yeah.
Okay, so now this is what we were talking about earlier. Up at Malabar, Island Rangers are hosting Hamilton Parish. Maceo.
Yeah, that once you talked about it earlier, right? Island Rangers get 5 in them. Then let's see who they are. Let's see who they are. As Hamilton Parish, they go up there and put 5 in them. Hamilton Parish for sure.
Okay, I've taken Parish. And Punchy?
Hamilton Parish. Look, Sergio can go up the dockyard and be disturbed by who's playing the games. No, Hamilton Parish for sure. Sergio will do some work. He will already know what Island Range is about. He'll make sure he goes up there. He knows what he's doing on that field. I actually, it's a nice little playing field. They have stuff that they have up there. So I'm picking Hamilton Parish when they wait for that.
Okay, I've taken Parish as well. Macy, did I let you pick?
What's that? Yeah,
you pick? Yeah. Okay, and the final first division game on Sunday is at Police Field, where Social Club will entertain St. David's. I've already taken Social Club. Punchy?
Social Club. St. David's on the bottom. It's Social Club. That's hands down again. Another one, hands down.
I see Maceo smiling and say he may pull one out of his hat. Maceo?
Social Club's not the real deal, man. They're not what they was last year, man. They're definitely not what they was last year. They're not got the momentum that they had going into last year. But I'm gonna give them one last chance before I lose. Social Club. I'm taking Social Club.
You're taking Social?
And thank you that Northwest has got to buy a week for me. Yeah, thank you that
Northwest got to buy. Yeah. You thank God for that. But what I want to ask is, like, who's actually a Social Club? Because I don't know what Troy Lewis is trying to achieve there. Like, what is going on there? I want to ask, like, what's really going on in Social Club? Really? What is projection? What is Troy Lewis trying to achieve there?
I mean, that's something that we would have to ask him. I
guess so. I will.
I guess so. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing when people don't come outside the same thing in North Carolina. You don't come outside what your comfort environment is. You're not learning new stuff. So you can speak to Bournemouth and what you thought you knew what you did, and you realize, actually, I don't know what I did. And when you went to Bournemouth, you learned so many things because you saw so many different things. So a social club, a North Village, the people that are running them, they only have the thought process of what's in that small little circle. They don't have a thought process of outside that process.
Macy, I'm laughing because I got a comment from a friend. You're talking like a Manchester United fan.
Well,
I guess Coach Keita must have seen me comment beforehand because she took her camera off.
Don't put no village in this. How much do I have to take today?
Well, Coach Keita already talked about she be on suicide watch and she let it stress out. So Coach, we've already made our picks, so we'll quickly let you do your picks. Cougars and Somerset at Devonshire Recreation Club.
Somerset.
Okay. And then Dandy Town are at home to Somerset Eagles.
Dandy Town. They won't repeat this weekend's mistake.
Crossroads entertain PHC at Garrison.
PHC.
Devonshire Colts are at home at Policefield against Southampton Rangers.
Devonshire Colts.
Streaker's not going to be happy with you guys. In First Division, Glasgow are at home at Southampton Oval against BAA.
BAA.
Boulevard are at home to Paget Lions.
Boulevard.
Hamilton Parish travel to Malabar to face Island Rangers.
Hamilton Parish.
And the final one, Social Club are at home to St. David's.
Give with your heart. Like, there you go.
Give my heart. I'm going to serve my heart. St. David's. St. David's.
Oh, boy. So it won't be North Village. We should be mad at next week. It'll be St. David's. All right. Well, I want to thank you very much. We've had some fruitful conversation tonight regarding football, and I may it long continue because I think we are making a little difference and making people think a little more about how things are going on in Bermuda. And again, I want to say kudos to the Bermuda Football Association for getting something started. On what level it is, you always have to start somewhere in order to improve on something. So
and it was very good too, Earl. The visual was good. It was whoever was recording did a really good job.
Yeah, that's all done.
And now, before you go, I just like to add again about the refereeing association. I want to give kudos to them. The refereeing that's being done even at the junior level, at the games on Saturdays, that the young ones that are coming out and doing this. I think the referee association is doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, Preston Williams is doing amazing. He even has the females reffing the Premier League games, the young 16, 17-year-olds, and that's absolutely amazing.
And we also want to make sure that we also give some of the players credit as well, because how they behave to some of the senior referees, you don't see that with these young referees or referee assistants, and we want to make sure that continues, because we want to encourage these youngsters who like to play, but are helping them get their games played.
Exactly.
So I just want to add to that. The referee association, kudos to them and the work that they're doing, and it's helping the country so that when teams show up, it's not somebody just picking up the daddy and mama says, "Oh, go referee the game." No, it's organized, and I think they've done the right thing. I saw it in England. I saw it when I was there. Young referees, 16 and 14, refereeing these games, and girls and women. Yeah. And so that's kudos to them. That's what I'm gonna say. Hands up to them. Yes,
folks. Thanks a lot. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, with other results.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night. Yeah.